As you can imagine, it's still about Harry Kane. Today's Sun is saying battle to land star strikers, so it's not just Harry Kane in the mix today, it's also a little bit on Romelu Lukaku. So Kane's future remains a hot topic, though, on every fan's football lips. It's been revealed he's still on his holidays. Why not, eh? If you're out in the Bahamas, why not? He failed to turn up to training for a second day in a row yesterday. Back page of the Sun this morning says, hot Spurs. Club boiling mad. Kane didn't jet back from sunshine holidays on time. Kane's extended his time in the Bahamas when he already had 3 weeks off after Euro 2020, and the Spurs striker will not report for pre-season on Sunday with just a week to prepare until their opening match of the season with Manchester City. City are set to be lining up a £160 million bid for Kane. So that's what it's saying at the moment. Darren, do you think he needs to hand in a transfer request and force the move through? And what kind of environment does that create when you do something like that?
Well, it's difficult because it kind of happened to me leaving Sunderland. I mean, I'll get to that in a bit. But for Harry Kane, you'd have to say it might come to that. If he's got that much desperation to leave Spurs, I don't think I could see him doing that, because I think it's always a little bit different when you've come through the youth system somewhere and you're kind of ingrained in that club. I think it's then very, very hard to hand a transfer request and say you want out of them. It's happened before, but can I see him or getting that far? No. But at some stage, it's going to come to a standoff where if he's saying, I want to leave, and Daniel Levy is saying to him, well, it's got to be this much money, then he might have to do that. And I know he probably ain't going to want to do that, but if he's that desperate to get himself out of Spurs and get to Manchester City or wherever he wants to go, then it might come down to that. And even then, there's no guarantees he hands a transfer request in that they still say yes.
That's the thing, isn't it? And while all of this is happening, we can make as much of it as we want, but the fact that he hasn't reported to pre-season training and he's still on holiday, and there are no official statements from the club to kind of deny that there is a problem. There is obviously a problem here, isn't there? For Manchester City, who want him, if the price is 160 million and they're not going to go below that, why not just do it now? Why drag this out?
Because I don't think, and listen, he is one of the best centre forwards in the world, but he's not worth 160 million. Like, he's 28 years old now. He has had injuries, so to go and spend, because what you're going to get out of him, 4 or 5 years, I just don't think it justifies spending that much money. So for Manchester City, you're right. They've got the money to do it, but probably Pep Guardiola and the owners are probably thinking, well, no, 160 million is too much. 100 million, 120 million, that's probably more realistic, you'd have to say, for Harry Kane. But if Daniel Levy is saying, I want 140 million, 150 million, and Manchester City aren't prepared to pay that, or no one's going to pay that, then he's going to have to stay and play.
What happens, because I know you've been in a few situations with transfers where, was it Sunderland to Villa as well, 2011? Tell me about that one.
It's funny because I was sitting there, I was at the house playing Call of Duty on the PlayStation. Of course. This is how it starts. This is how randomly it can start.
It could be any day really with you, couldn't it?
Honestly, this is how random it is. I'm sitting there playing Call of Duty, my phone goes to agent. He's like, hi, you're right, we're having a conversation. He's like, oh, I've had a conversation with somebody, and now this person's called Jeff. He got me he kind of had something to do with a deal with me going from Ipswich to Charlton, and he was at Villa at the time. And he said, oh, Aston Villa are looking for a centre forward, and I threw your name in just as a joke. And he went, oh, do you think Darren will be up for coming? And I went, well, I've not even had the conversation with him, but I can certainly speak to him. So he asked me, oh, would you be interested in going to Villa? And I looked at Villa's team at the time and thought, yeah, why not? They've obviously got some very, very good players. Ashley Young was there at the time, Stuart Downing. So I looked at the team and thought, really, really good team. And even I love my time at Sunderland. I was really happy there. So he goes, right, let me just call Jeff back and just say, like, there's a slim chance that you'd be interested in going. So I'm carrying plan now. And he calls me back and goes, right, they're interested. Honestly, it was about 15 minutes later, yeah, they're interested. I went, whoa, okay. He went, I think the two teams are going to speak, see what kind of price. And I fully expected Sunderland to come up and say, he's not for sale. Like, I just scored 25 goals the season before. So I fully expected them to say, he's not going. He's not going. And even this first half of the season, I think that's on 10 goals already or something. And then all of a sudden, he calls me back and goes, oh, you're never going to guess what. Sunderland have quoted Villa, I think it was 24 million. So I laughed. I can remember it vividly. I laughed on the phone and went, well, that's never going to happen. They're never going to pay that. Anyway, I'll speak to you like in the next few days or whatever. Put the phone down, continue playing Call of Duty. Honestly, about 45 minutes later, phone rings again. I'm like, what? What is going on here? I go, you right? He's like, you're never gonna believe this. Villa said they're willing to pay the 24 million, and that's when it became quite real. I'm sitting there thinking it's never going to happen. Because as I said, I was more than happy to stay at Sunderland because I was playing really well, had a really good relationship with the supporters, everyone at the club. And then all of a sudden, that's when it became real. Like, I had a decision to make. Do I then stay? Or do I go to Villa? Because Gerard Houllier is now pushing this. Like, yeah, I want to sign him, I want to sign him, I want to sign him. So it's all in the space of about an hour and a half. I've had 4 conversations.
So transfers can start off the back of jokes, is what you're saying?
Can start from the back of Call of Duty. FIFA, could be anything. That's how it comes about.
So then how quickly did you then make your decision after that?
And straight away I got on the phone to my dad. I said, what do you think? Because I used to speak to my dad. Anything to do with moving to clubs or anything, I'd speak to my dad. I said, what do you think? So we had a conversation about it. And then I said, okay, let's do it. And then I think this might have been the Wednesday. We had Newcastle on the Sunday in obviously massive game derby.
Yeah, Sunderland Newcastle.
So I think the 2 teams are speaking, and I play the game against Newcastle, and then I head down to Villa on the Monday. And it's only I'm sitting in the hotel room for about 3 or 4 days because they can't sort out the details. And it's only when I'm about to sign then for Villa is when Sunderland say, right, Darren, you got to hand the transfer request in. That's the only way we're going to put this transfer through. So I didn't want to do that. But what else can I do? I'm sitting there. I'm sitting in the room about to sign. What can I do?
That is unbelievable.
And that is why I get absolute pelts from the Sunderland fans.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they, in their eyes, they're like, well, why did you leave when things were going great?
But in my head, though, I always thought to myself, well, if Sunderland had said, it's not even a discussion, he's not for sale, I was more than happy to just stay there.
Did it make you feel a little bit unwanted when they went, right, 24 million?
A little bit. Because how quickly they come up with a price.
So then when you went back to training, was there any conversations with the guys above, like, oh, like, what happened there? Or
nah, it was all quite hush-hush.
Because they probably thought from your side of things, oh, he wants to go.
Yeah, no, it was all hush. No one even mentioned anything. The only time I spoke to a couple of my closest mates at Sunderland, people like Fraser Campbell, and that was, I think, maybe on the Saturday, day before the game. And
when you got to Villa, were you like, I'm glad I did this? You know, you're initially...
Oh, mate, that first kind of 3 months I was there with a team that we had, oh my goodness, like playing with people like Ashley Young. And listen, no disrespect to the players at Sunderland, some great players there. But in terms of, like, Stewie Downing was an international playing for England, Ashley Young, some of the players we had was incredible.
Wow, can't believe that. So some things happen.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Harry Kane's on Call of Duty at the moment?
I hope not in the Bahamas.
Just wondering what, it might be night time, I don't know. What's the time difference? Just wondering who's going to call him up and say, do you want to come here? And
I'm telling you now, though, his phone will be going... I'm hoping that he switches his phone off because he'll be on the phone with his agent, obviously people at the football club. His phone will be his phones will be going off.
Honestly, unbelievable story.
Notifications off.
Darren Bent, thank you very much for that one.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.